Triple M, it's Robbie and Carly. Now, it's hard to even know where to start on this. Married at First Sight has been going off. And Alissa joins us right now to give us the full rundown on not just her evening last night at the commitment ceremony, but really the last week. Hello, Alissa. Are you okay there?
Hello, guys. I am still alive. I'm okay. I survived the war zone.
That was so brutal to watch, Alissa. Before we go all the way back to the dinner party, let's talk about last night because you got so many different apologies thrown at you. But we never actually got to see whether or not you fully accepted them. They kind of brushed past that. So let's go through Beck, Gia, and Brooke and tell us individually which apologies you accept and which you don't, or maybe you accept them all.
So I think Beck was the most authentic apology from the evening. Obviously, Gia and Brooke, I don't know if you guys realised or saw, but as I was talking on the couch and, you know, about their disgusting behaviour, they were looking at each other and smirking. So I didn't think they were authentic at all. Those apologies were just made out of, okay, we better apologise too because everybody else is. Yeah. It's crazy watching it back and looking at their eyes smirking, and you can see it.
It's so weird to think that you're there for your relationship, essentially, but you have all this snarkiness in the background, even on the couch. Like, did you even get a word in about your relationship in the couch, really, or was it all just addressing the girls?
It was mainly addressing the toxic behaviour that was the night before at the dinner party and how gutted, you know, I was and how, you know, it didn't affect like David and I in any way. It brought us closer together, you know, because we showed up for each other in that moment. So they actually did us a favour. So thank you, girls, for bullying us, and especially me, because it actually brought my relationship closer together.
Oh, I love to hear that. But I didn't love to see what I saw. It was absolutely brutal, Alissa.
No.
Since the fallout of all of this has happened, we've heard from Gia mostly about this. Now, this is an interesting one, and I'm not sure if you saw this, but she's made some claims around why her behaviour was what it was. So I don't know if you've heard, but she's said that Stella was flirty with Scott, fixing his collar and calling him husband material. She then claimed why she came for you was because Beck said she knew you from Adelaide and didn't like you. And even though she has apologised, she kind of used those as ammo as to explain why she went so hard. First of all, let's get into the Stella thing. Did you see any of that kind of behaviour?
No, not at all from Stella. Stella is the most beautiful, gentle soul. And even if Scott's collar was a bit kinked up, she's one of those girls that will tell you she's got food in your teeth. You know what I mean? Like, who cares if she's just going to straighten up your collar or tell you got food in your teeth or whatever? I think that is a woman who's confident and, you know, wants to help her fellow castmates out, which is fine. I've never seen Stella flirt with anyone. She's a beautiful girl, inside and out, as you guys can see on screen. That's who she is. And as for, what was the next question again? Sorry.
Beck claimed, now Beck's come out and since said that there's no beef between the two of you, but at the time she said she knew you from Adelaide and didn't like you.
Yeah, well, she actually didn't know me from Adelaide. We had a few mutual friends. So I'd seen her maybe once or twice at a mutual gathering. We never exchanged long conversations or anything. When I saw her at the hands, I was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing here? Like, wow, hello. But it wasn't like, I know who you are. I'm going to talk shit on you. I don't like you. You know, she had no reason to not like me because we don't know each other in the real world, personally.
I'm interested to know, with all this stuff happening at the dinner parties and the commitment ceremonies and everything, like things kick off, like absolutely kick off.
Yeah.
How does that affect the girls' relationships? Because I would imagine as a partner, like whether it's Scott or whether it's whoever, they must just be sitting there going, this person is an idiot. Like, I can't be with them. Do they just sit there quietly or do they kick off as well?
They just sat there quietly. A lot of weak men at that table. A lot of weak men at that table, and, you know, it does get called out because I get sick and tired of seeing these men just sit down and let their wives, you know, talk disrespectfully to others. Like, obviously, it's just about having a conversation. David would have never let me speak to other women like that. He'd be like, hey, babe, is that really necessary? Like, you know, or I would say, hey, David, you shouldn't speak to them like that. You know, you just pull each other up. You don't have to be nasty about it. It's just about being a mature adult, having proper conversations. And what we saw, what you guys saw, it was 100 times worse.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that for a second, because we did see a little bit of extra footage for the on stand with the after dinner party, and that was hectic. But you've claimed that Chris piled on you that night as well, and none of that was shown. So what happened?
That is never going to make airtime, ever. What he was saying at the table was so vicious to a point where nothing that he said can ever be repeated in real life or on 7:30 TV.
So this was directed at you, Alissa and Stella?
Mainly me, yes. Yeah.
What's his problem with you? Is it because Brooke was piling on you?
I think it was just a big gang-up fest, a bunch of hyenas, low bottom feeders coming for me and my relationship and trying to sabotage anything. I guess they're just not happy within themselves. It was really sad to see, and it was awful just being in front line of it all.
So there's claims that David actually almost got physical with him after hearing some of this. Is this why this didn't go to air, because it was so escalated? It
was very escalated. Things did get very hot between the boys, but obviously, you know, nothing did happen. But yeah, it was awful. It was just, I can't even explain.
I'm so sorry, Alissa, because what we saw was awful. I didn't realise the depth of this. Is there anything else that happened on that night that didn't make it to air?
We had 7 hours of it. You only saw 5 minutes of it. So
oh my God.
That went on for 7 hours. Yeah, which is why, obviously, at the end of the dinner party, as soon as I walked out, I didn't cry once. I just broke down. You know, I was in my robe. I was behind scenes, and I just was an absolute mess. I just couldn't even comprehend what had just happened. It was so hurtful.
At any time, did the producers intervene and say, hey, enough, guys?
They should have. They should have.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things that didn't happen that night that should have happened. The more I think about it and look back on it all.
So we saw on after the dinner party as well, you were showing those texts that you got from Brooke. Have you heard any more from her since then, or has it been complete radio silence?
Yeah, it was radio silence until this week. I actually did hear from Brooke. She did send me a written letter, or an apology, but it's a little bit too late for that. But yeah,
a letter, like a physical letter.
Interesting.
Well, it was in letter format, but it was via email. It was a little bit too late, girl.
Well, we saw her get up and leave last night, and obviously she doesn't come back to the experiment, I'm assuming. How did you feel about her leaving, and do you think she was seeing that guy while she was filming and that played a part?
Look, from what I've heard is she left the experiment, and then she ended up getting on a plane and going to the Maldives with someone. I don't know if that was her ex-boyfriend or whatever, but I know that was going on while we're on the experiment, because there were some people in the experiment who were still friends with her and talking to her.
Right. That is crazy.
That's crazy. And how did you feel last night after she walked away?
Well, there was other things that obviously happened. We were all just sitting there kind of not surprised, but I was just a little bit like, that's just, you know, she couldn't face herself. She didn't take any accountability, and she just thought it was easier to walk away, which is pretty low.
It's so crazy, Alissa, because all of this has almost derailed the fact that you've managed to find a great partner in David. Yeah. I hope we actually get to see a bit more of your relationship unfolding.
Yes, I hope so too, because obviously, you know, we have big days where we're filming and we're doing activities together, but the drama is just so noisy. We are. Well, all I will say is that we are building a very strong relationship, and we are a very strong couple.
Well, that's good to hear. I guess the other question as well, it's Intruder Week this week. Are the new people Are they just as bad as Brooke and Gia? Are we seeing more kick off?
I don't think we can get worse.
I feel like I can't tell you. You guys will have to stay tuned. It's pretty hectic. There are a few interesting characters and personalities that are about to enter, so get your popcorn ready. And yeah, buckle up.
And just quickly, I know you've been asked this a lot before, Alissa, but is there anything at all we're not seeing? And not to put this on you at all, because that behaviour would never be warranted in any situation. But is there anything, because as you mentioned, we've heard about a lot that didn't make it to air. Is there anything we're missing in this whole situation with you and Stella and Gia and Brooke? Because the level of intensity just doesn't make sense.
I wish I could tell you a story, but I don't have a story for you. Basically, yeah, they were just, I guess, these girls were just jealous of strong women who know who they are, show up and call out bullshit. And they wanted to pack up together, and Stella and I call the girls the five-headed dragon. And it was just us. And obviously, you know, I have Stella's back, and, you know, she's always been amazing to me as well. And I guess that's where you'll see where the groups start to separate. You know, so then there's like the mean girls and then there's the nice girls. But I wish I could tell you a story that as to why. It is a mystery. The experts are trying to unpack as to why as well, but there's just no real reason for it.
And does it get any worse? Surely not now that Brooke's left.
Oh, I wish I could tell you. But
like
yeah, there's so much more to unpack here, and I don't think it's finished just yet.
Oh,
wow.
Okay. Well,
but I can't say what.
Okay. Well, this is the wildest season of MAFS I've seen in a lot of years, and I'm sorry genuinely, Alissa, for what you've had to endure so far. Thank you so much for joining us. And fingers crossed for a little bit more happiness and a little bit more of you and David on screen.
100%. Fingers crossed. Thank you guys for having me.